So welcome everybody. So we're going to do a journey through the chakras tonight, which was originally talked about in the Vijnana Tantra. So that's this book. So this is the modern name that this particular author has given it, the Radiance Sutras, but it's actually a really ancient text. And this is a translation from the Bihar school. So it's the Sri Vijnana Bhaha Tantra. And some of you will remember that it's said to be a conversation between Shiva and Shakti. So the masculine, feminine energy, or all that is. And we're looking at verse 29 tonight. So I've got 3 different translations here, and I'll use each of them at some point throughout the text, sort of to give you a feel for the energy that they're describing, but we're actually going to go into the energy field of the spine and work with it. One of the other things that we're going to work with is, which I've covered before, is the Dwadishanta, which is, remember, Dwada means 12, and you can either measure it with both hands, or you can actually measure it with one hand like this. So you spread the span of the hand and then do this, and that is 12 fingers width. It's also measured here. So within the human body, there's a measure of 12 in many, many different places. So there's a measure of 12 from the inhale to the heart space. There's a measure of 12 from the exhale from the nose to the distance of the bioplasmic field or the energy body. There's also a measure here to the higher self above the crown. And eventually, it comes all the way around us. So this particular verse also deals with what happens when you work with the energy as it moves through each of the chakras. It comes up they describe it as a filament, like a tiny filament of energy, and it changes colour, so it goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and then violet, white. And then it moves up to here, and they describe it like almost like a fireworks display, because it reaches up to the higher self and then it just kind of sprinkles itself all around the energy field. So let's see if we can do that tonight. So I'm going to start by just settling ourselves with the breath. Spine nice and straight. Take a deep breath in. And let's release a little bit of tension from the neck. So let's rotate the head one way and then the other. Just connecting to the breath. Good, now let's drop the chin down. Gentle circle. So really be careful with that circular movement. It might be quite a small movement for you. Make sure the jaw's relaxed. And you're moving with the breath. Good, change directions. Lovely. Now let's take a rotation to the spinal column. So just turning to the right, holding for a few breaths. Good, and changing. Good, back to centre. Let's take our hands to the shoulders, or just roll the shoulders. So if that's a little bit of a struggle for you, then just do a rolling motion. I'm going to inhale. Sighing out. Lovely, one more. Lovely. Now let's just do a little bit of cat-cow, because the chakras, so the energy vortexes that sit within the region of the spinal column, we can locate them at different areas there. So just freeing up the spine, inhaling and exhaling. And as you move, be aware of the articulation of the tailbone as it presses towards whatever you're sitting on, and then it releases its pressure. And then be aware of your attention coming up to the pubic bone, to the navel, to the heart space, to the throat, to the third eye, to the crown of the head. So in the ancient texts, they talk of 12 energy centres. We're going to work with the key 7 that we are more familiar with. Good, now just bring yourself to upright again. Just place your attention on the breath. I want you to breathe in for a count of 4. And out for 4. Check that the jaw's relaxed. Love that. Increase that count to 5. So just breathing in and out for 5. Notice when the mind wanders, just bring it back to the count. Lovely, let's increase the count to 6. So remember, as we move up the counts, we're not really breathing in for more, we're actually breathing in more slowly. So we're, at the same time, we're dropping deeper into alpha state, which is right side of the mind, of the brain. And the breath becomes more and more quiet. And as we continue to focus just on the simple Sukha Pranayama, and we observe the flow of the breath, we're kind of reminded of that, the early verses of the Tantric text, which talk about the turning points of the breath. Enter these turning points where the rhythms of life transform into each other. Breath flowing in, filling, filling. In this moment, drink eternity. Breath flows out, emptying, emptying, offering itself to infinity. So just really allowing yourself to go deeper into the breath and then deeper into the alpha state. Good, let's increase the count to 7, so slowing it down even more. And then finally, a breath count of 8 in and 8 out, just really following that life force as it flows in to the body and out of the body. Good, now just release the count. Be aware of the natural flow of the breath. And allow your awareness to move right down into the base of the body, into the root chakra. So in men, this is the perineum, and in women, it's said to be the cervix. So really just bring your attention to that point within the body, sensing it. Visualize a red ball of light. And we're going to work with the seed mantra of the chakra, which is LAM. So we're going to repeat it first out loud, and then we'll repeat it silently with the breath. And we're focusing the energy with our mind to the root chakra. So really stay focused on the root chakra. So it's a red energy. Take a breath in. Long, long, Now just use the breath and just repeating it with the breath as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, just keeping the mind focused on the red energy center in the base of the body. So this is one of the denser chakras, known as one of the lower chakras, where we experience a lot of emotion. Now I want you to shift your attention to the pubic bone and be aware of that area. So this is Swadhisthana chakra, or the second chakra. It also translates as the sacral chakra, the sacred space. And the colour here is orange. So visualize an orange energy in this area. Focus intensely. Use the mind to focus in the area around the pubic bone and in towards the body, as well as it's not just at the front, it kind of encompasses the whole of the body in that area. And here we're going to focus the sound to the sacral chakra, and the sound is Vam. Take a breath in. Vam. 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 And just resting. Staying focused on the second chakra. Moving up to Manipur, so around the navel center. The third chakra. This is yellow, a really intense yellow like the sun. It's our power center. So really focusing your attention there, so the energy follows the thought. Be aware of this really bright yellow energy filling that central area. And here we'll focus the sound Ram. 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 Stay focused on the Manipur chakra. Hear the sound silently. Be aware of that intense, vibrant yellow energy. So don't worry if you can't visualize colours. Not all people can, but you can imagine it because you know what the colour yellow is, so that's fine too. And now bring your attention to the centre of the chest, so where the breastbone is. And then imagine coming in a couple of inches, so you're kind of halfway between the breastbone and the space between the shoulder blades. And here, this is Anahata, and this is the fourth chakra. This is said to be the gateway chakra, or the bridge between the lower three, where we experience really strong emotions, and the higher ones. And this is a really beautiful emerald green. Be aware of the breath expanding and contracting around the heart space. And notice whether you feel any heaviness at the heart. Maybe the breathing is maybe a little bit restricted there. Just notice it. Fill the space with this beautiful green light. And the seed mantra here is Yam. 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 And again, just resting, hearing the seed mantra being repeated silently with each breath. And as we move higher up, the vibrational frequency of each center is lighter, just like the frequency of light is. So we're moving now to the throat, which is blue light. This is called Vishuddhi, so place your attention at the throat. Let the jaw be totally relaxed. Notice if there's any holding patterns around the jaw. And here the sound is hum. 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 Being aware of this blue energy at the throat. Notice any really subtle energy as it moves in the energetic field. The Dwadhishtanta, the energy body. So Vishuddhi, the throat, is the centre of communication. Good, now let your attention rise up to the space between the eyebrows. And be aware of the dark space in front of the eyes. This is Ajna. And sort of visualize a really beautiful indigo light, a deep purple. Hold the focus at the third eye. And here the sound is Om. So we'll do the two-syllabled Om, which is O-M, as opposed to Om, A-U-M. So just focusing on the third eye. Om. 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 And then be aware of the very top of the head, so the crown chakra. And here there is just silence. And it's a violet white light. And sometimes it can really help to imagine a flower opening its petals, a lotus flower. Sometimes I like to use a dandelion because they open and close very tightly with the sun. So just a sense of the top of the head opening. And then be aware that above the top of the head is the higher self. So again, we can measure it with a single hand, spreading the width. It's 12 fingers width above the crown of the head. So you're placing your attention up here. Just being aware of that space. And then at the same time, being aware that from that point above the top of the head, the higher self, there is this ball of energy that completely surrounds the entire body like a protection field all the way around. So with all that image, that image that I've described to you, holding that field around you, imagine it as a golden protection ball. You've got this flower opening at the top of the head, reaching up to the higher self. We're going to bring the energy from the root to the crown. And as we exhale, we're going to imagine that exhalation comes from the higher self, and it just sort of almost like the northern lights as it comes into our bioplasmic field, which is what happens with the northern lights. They hit Earth's atmosphere and they create this beautiful iridescent display. And our physical body is no different to the Earth. So bring your attention to the root chakra again. And we're going to inhale. We're going to feel the inhalation come up, and it's going to be like a filament. Red changes to orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, white, up to the crown. And then let that exhalation spill out and around, almost as if you're creating your own northern lights display, the aurora borealis. The inhale, it's travelling up, and then this filament, this beautiful iridescent filament from the very root chakra, it changes colour like a rainbow as it travels up. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, white. And then as you exhale, it just comes all the way around you into the Dwadhisthana, the energy field. And just continuing to work with the breath and that visualization as we rise up through the chakras. I'm going to read from the very traditional, the Bihar translation, which is called The Ascent by Swami Satyananda Saraswati. Meditate on that Shakti. So Shakti is energy. Meditate on that Shakti moving upwards like lightning through all the chakras, one by one to the Dwadishanta. Then at last the glorious form of Bhairava dawns. So Bhairava is another name for consciousness. That sense of the releasing of that beautiful cascade of energy coming from the higher self all the way through the body, around it, filling that entire bioplasmic field. And then this is a translation by a gentleman called Rajit Chowdhury. It's called The 112 Meditations for Self-Realization. Same ancient text, slightly different translation. Meditate on the energy in the form of lightning, ascending from energy center to energy center, till the highest center, in the end, experience great love rising. So we're creating our own beautiful display of this iridescent light as it moves from the base all the way up to the crown and above to the higher self, around our bioplasmic field, which is what science calls it because they now recognize it. We would call it either the sacred body or the energy body. And then the final translation, which is the most modern and very poetic. Trace the river of life that flows through you, the luxuriating, rising energies, gradually touching each of the centers along the spine. Savor every shimmer of color along the way. Enter each area tenderly, loving as you go. Finally, gently dissolving in the crown of the head, then above, in the space above the head, the great dawn. Lovely. Now bring the hands together. Keep the eyes closed. And I just want you to rub the hands so that you're sort of bringing your awareness back into the physical vehicle. Sometimes these intense meditations can be very expansive. So be aware of being back in the body, in the physical meat suit. Lovely. Now as you inhale, sit the arms out and up, as if you're just gently brushing the circumference of the bioplasmic field. And then exhale, bring it back into the heart space. And namaste.